This is exactly how my student Izzy went from making $800 a month with her side hustle UGC to making $7,000 a month and quitting her full-time job as a chemical engineer in literally just 90 days. Izzy came into UGC Mastery already creating content, but like so many creators, she didn't have a system in place to really scale this business. She had no strategy, no consistent income, and honestly, no idea how to turn this into a full-time business. And let's be so honest about it, leaving a stable career in STEM is just not something people do without a plan. But within just 3 months, she had built her confidence in her skill set and landed enough high-paying brand deals that she was able to put in her 2 weeks and walk away completely from her engineering job. This is exactly what can happen for you if you start following a proven system, treating UGC like a business, and stop second-guessing yourself. Let's hear from Izzy on exactly how she did it. Hello, this is Izzy. I'm so excited to introduce you to her. She has been an incredible student that had joined Mohni Makers a few months ago.
Yeah.
And within a few months was able to, quit her full-time job. So we're going to get completely into that story today. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me and doing this with me today.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! Okay, so let's start like from the beginning. Tell me where you were before you started UGC Mastery. Like what were you doing? What was your experience with the UGC? Lay it all out for me.
For sure. So, yes, I started UGC Mastery back in like January, I think. I actually started UGC back in July of last year. And I kind of started doing it because I've always been interested in content creation. Never really wanted to be an influencer. That wasn't like my vibe. I didn't want my name to be tied to things really. So I'd always been interested in it. I have a friend here in Tampa that got me into UGC. And I was just doing it part time alongside my full time job, which I was doing chemical engineering, which is way different. But I needed some type of creative outlet. So this was perfect. I was like, I'm going to make content anyway because I'm a Gen Z girl. Like, I'm going to make content anyway. So I might as well monetize it. So started making content and kind of saw like I'd seen other people, obviously do this as their full time job. And I knew that was a possibility. But for me, it started out very much as like part time. But then I kind of realized, oh, well, I could actually do this full time. Like this is a real thing. Like this isn't just a little side hustle that's going to stay a side hustle. And so I had kind of set a goal for myself where I was like, maybe by the end of 2024, I was like, maybe that's when I'll look at quitting my job. And so I kind of set that goal for myself, but I hadn't gotten enough like recurring income that was like stable to basically feel comfortable enough to quit my job at that point because I had just done a lot of like one-off collaborations and that's just how it was. And I was making decent money. I was making like $800 to $1,000 a month, but nothing that like you can really live off of in today's world. So I was like, okay, I feel kind of stuck because I'd kind of been stuck in this making like 800 to 1K like month for about 3 months. And so I was like, I feel stuck. Nothing's happening. I'm not growing. Like I'm just kind of here and I'm doing what I see on the internet. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. So I was like, I feel like I need some type of like road guide and like map to actually scale up my business. And that's when I'd seen you, I followed you on Instagram basically from the start. And so I had seen you posting about, people looking to quit their 9 to 5s. And I was like, that is literally me exactly. Like, I want to do this full time. There were some other things that happened in my job that made me want to be like, I'm done. So I was like, this is perfect. I want to do this. 3 months sounded great. Like, I was like, I can handle 3-ish more months into my job. Like, I can do that. Like, I'll be fine. I'll survive. I'm strong. So that's basically how I came to like see your program and where I was before I started your program, which is kind of looking to make that a stable recurring source of income basically because it wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, that's so cool. So, do you like remember what you were struggling with the most? Like, was it landing new brand deals? Was it like maintaining brand deals? Like, what were you struggling with the most, do you feel like?
I think the two main things that I was struggling with was negotiation, first of all, which I found a lot was like rooted in the confidence in myself and like the value I bring to the table. And then also securing those recurring like clients. I was doing a lot of just one-off like deals. It was just kind of, I didn't really know how to get them to come back. And it wasn't because I was like making bad content, because they would come back with no revisions and I'd just be like, oh, this was great. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Like, payment came through. Cool. And so I didn't really know how to build and like grow that relationship. And you had mentioned that that was your specialty. And I was like, this is perfect. And I was like, I'm sure being like a seasoned creator, she knows how to negotiate as well. So I was like, this is perfect. It was basically just those like client relationships and client communication that I needed to work on, a little bit of a confidence boost in.
A little bit of like imposter syndrome almost, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do
1000%.
you do you remember the worst, like your worst moment, like the moment you knew something had to change? Do you remember that like moment?
I think it was really like October of last year. I was just not in a good place with my job. There was a lot of things that were happening in my job where I was just like, this is not where I want to be. First of all, like even if I stay in a traditional 9 to 5, I cannot be at this company anymore. Like I can't do it. There was one project that I was on that I was just like, this is really bad and disorganized. I kind of took the fall for a lot of stuff when it wasn't really my fault, and I was like, I can't do this. Like this is not the place for me. I'm done. And so since I already had kind of like, this little side stream of income, that's when I was like, okay, perfect. I can build off of that. And the idea of like not going into the office every day, which was another thing my work did, was like all of a sudden they were like, oh, we want you to be in the office 100% of the time. Whereas before we were hybrid. So I was kind of like total switch up. Like there was no like, hey, starting in a month, we want you guys to be in the office all the time. It was literally like one Monday we got an email and it was like, we expect you to be in the office full time. It
Oh.
was like, I have appointments, I have things lined up. Like I was like, this is ridiculous. And like, how are you going to rip away that bit of flexibility from me and that little bit of freedom when I'm a full grown adult? Like, I don't need to be babysat in an office all day.
Word.
And so I was like, I just want the freedom and autonomy of my time back. And just plus all that other stuff was happening right at the same time. So it was kind of just like an amalgamation of just a bunch of things happening at once. And I was like, I need to get out.
Mhm.
And also my husband, he's an angel. I literally was complaining to him every night. And like when I told him, I was like, I think I want to start getting like out of this, like phasing out and doing this UGC thing full time. He was like, thank God, because honestly, I'm tired of hearing you complain about work every day. And I was like, got it, got it, cool.
How many other spouses are like that where they're like, can you just shut up?
No,
Please
he
do
was like, I'm
something
honestly
else.
tired of it. Like, he was like, I can't hear any more stories about this person, that person, this project. I was like, same. I can't either.
I'm just as sick of it as you are.
Like, trust me, it's my everyday life. I live it.
That's so funny. So, why did you decide to take a chance on UGC Mastery? Like, what was the final straw?
Yes. So it was funny because you had actually reached out to me, or I'd like slid up on one of your stories, and we had kind of chatted back and forth about how long I'd been in UGC. And you had mentioned, like, hey, let's hop on a call, let's see. And at that point, I kind of froze because I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. Like, honestly, I'm scared. And I was kind of, because there is a little bit of that, like, I'm giving up this like stable lifestyle that
Mhm.
kind of comes with like the security that comes with a corporate job. And so I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not fully ready. I've been saying I'm ready, but I don't really think I am. So I was like, kind of ignored that for a little while. And I was like, I don't know. And then I had, I think, probably like a bad day or a bad week at work. And you posted something in your story, and I was like, we're doing it. Like, this time we're doing it. And so basically, you had posted something on your story. I slid up and I was like, I would like to learn more. And we set up a call because we'd already had that like prior conversation a little bit. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm doing this thing. Like, if I'm actually going to make this like a full time thing, I need to stop dilly dallying and like just doing whatever. And your program just seemed perfect because it was geared towards people in 9 to 5s, and you had a roadmap and a lot of like tools and guides and things to help kind of pave the way to quitting your 9 to 5 and like making this a full-time stream of income. So because I just seen you like promoting it and I was like, this seems perfect for me. If I'm going to do it, I just need to do it. Like I can't, I'm either just going to sit here and treat UGC as a side hustle forever, or I just need to like just do it because
Take a bet on yourself.
yeah, like I was like, I just need like, here I am. I'm so over this. I just need to do it. And so it was kind of like a weird timing thing of it all. Because at first I was like, I'm scared. And then it was like, oh, okay, I'm doing it. Like, now's the time. Bite the bullet. Let's go. So,
I remember that first call telling you about the story about how I quit my job. At the time, I knew you wanted to quit your job, but I didn't even know it was as bad as it was for you. Like, you had mentioned, like, oh, I want to quit my job, which, like, you know, that's common. Obviously, when people come into the program, they're like, I want to quit my job. And I don't know why I had just felt so called to tell you that story. Basically, for anybody that doesn't know the story, when I had started a self-employed content creation business, I was in network marketing first. I was sitting at a conference and the speaker had said, if you work a full-time job, write that down on your piece of paper. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm what was I? A paralegal. I'm like, what is it called? I'm a paralegal. And he goes, okay, now write your network marketing business on the other side. And I wrote, like, prove it. And he said, okay, now circle the one that has your most attention and your most, that it has your most attention. And so I put a big circle around prove it. And my best friend looks at me and she goes, no, it's not. What are you doing? And I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? I love Prove It. I'm going to be a network marketer. I'm going to be a professional network marketer, and I'm going to create content for a living and sell things. And she was like, really? Because the only thing I ever hear from you, which is very, very aligned with your story, the only thing I ever hear from you is about how you hate all the people in the office, how you hate all your clients, how you hate your job so much, how much energy it's taking out from you, how much you hate your boss, all of these things. You're not focused on Prove It. And I was like, oh. And so I like X'd out and circled my paralegal job, and I left that event and I put my 90 days in at my paralegal job and said, I'm a sink or swim. And it's very similar, like super aligned in a different way, I think. And so I think I don't know. I just think that story it felt so called to me on our first call. I still remember sharing it with you and you were like, I was like, I don't know why the hell I'm telling you this, but like, here we go.
yeah, and I remember that really stuck with me because at that point I was like, I'm doing the same thing. Like I put so much energy I wasn't treating UGC like a viable, like main source of income. I was so much treating it as my side hustle and like not really identifying with UGC at all. Like in my head, I was still a chemical engineer and that's what I did and that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And so that story definitely, I was like, okay, I'm in the same boat. Like I just need to make a decision and go. Like I can't, like if I'm really committing, I got to commit and like believe in myself.
It's these lies that we tell ourselves, right? Like we say we want to do something, but like, do you really want to do it? Or like, are you just saying you want to do it? Because if you really want to do it, we got to take steps forward to actually get that shit done.
Yes, 1000%. Like I don't know. I felt like I was kind of sitting there saying, like talking all this talk and not taking any action. Yeah. And so I was like, now's the time. We're going to do it. What do I have to lose? Worst case scenario, I'm back in my 9 to 5, which I was in that place anyway. So
I love that. I think so many people are in that space right now where they're like, oh, I want to work from home. And you're like, okay, well, what are you doing about it? Like,
yeah.
When are you going to actually do something and stop saying that then?
100%.
I love that. Okay. So what was your first impression of UGC Mastery? Like when you first joined in, what were you thinking?
What was I thinking? So I was excited. I feel like it had kind of reignited a little bit of my like love for like content creation in UGC. Like I feel like I had kind of lost a little bit of that with like just kind of trying to put so much emphasis on it, but not really at the same time. Like I felt like I was viewing it more as like a business and a job instead of like creating content that I loved, because that's what I started. That's how I started. And I felt very creatively motivated. And I think when I first logged on to UGC Mastery, it was like your guide and like the academy. And I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch these videos. And I remember I sat down at my desk after work one day for like a couple of hours and just like watched a bunch of your videos because I was just so excited to get these like tools and tips and like insider secrets that you have and the like value that you bring. And I just remember it really was like, okay, this is good. Like there is like meat to this and there are things that I'm going to learn. And I felt immediately very confident in like my decision to commit to this like program. I was like, I feel good about this. This feels like a good match for me and it feels like the right decision. And I'm feeling excited and not like apprehensive for the first time in a while.
I love that. Oh, that's so good. I think when you put together a course, like especially like something of this magnitude, you're like, is it enough? Like, am I giving the information? And so I always like to hear what people thought when they first got in. Like, was it? Yeah. So that's amazing. So in your first 30 days, we were really focused on kind of like up leveling your portfolio and like really like honing in on just making you better for brands, if that makes sense. And so how was that whole process for you? Like, how did you feel about that whole process?
Oh, it was super good. I definitely knew that my like portfolio, because I already had like a pretty just like base level portfolio. I definitely knew that it needed an upgrade. And I was like, I want somebody, while I have friends in the space, like I was like, I want somebody that knows me a little bit, but knows me more in like a different sense than like my friends and can look at it from that perspective and like put kind of a different eye on it and see where I can improve and give me like actionable steps to improve my portfolio. And I remember it being like honestly pretty seamless. I had watched your guide and then on like your Notion page, I had gone through and, checked off all the things that we needed this on this page. And then you went in, I was like, okay, I'm ready for like a first review. And you went in, added your comments. And honestly, the whole process was really seamless. And now honestly, I'm like super proud of my portfolio, which before I wasn't really. Like I was just like, this is what I have and this is what I made. And it was the first portfolio I ever made. And it didn't really feel like it had like aligned with my personality and my style. And so I think it was really nice just to be able to kind of, okay, I can make more stylistic choices because I know Sydney's going to help me with like the actual like meat of the portfolio. Like I don't need to worry as much about, do I have this type of video? Do I have like this click like link here, like because I knew you were going to catch that and tell me to add it in. And so it was nice to be able to actually like kind of focus stylistically on more what I wanted because I knew the important things were really going to get caught when you checked it and you looked over it.
Yeah, I think I want to touch on something that you said. You said you have friends in the space. So like, tell me a little bit about the difference between like having friends in the space and information gathering on the internet and like having a specific coach that's here to direct you.
Yes, 100%. So, like I said, I do have friends in this space. I'm based in Tampa, a couple UGC creators here, and very experienced UGC creators. I met them as friends first, and they have helped me a ton, like get started. They were the ones that introduced me, and I owe them so much. But I think for me, I wanted to keep that relationship very much like a friendship. I didn't want to turn it anyway into like a business transactional relationship. Like I didn't want to go to them and be like, can you coach me and walk me through step by step everything that I need, which is something I like to have like step by step instructions. Like I just function better that way. And I didn't want to do that to my friend. And while we obviously like we still talk to this day, we make content together, like all these things, and we, bounce ideas off of each other and get tips and say like, hey, this client came back with this, what should I say? And we do have that kind of relationship, but it's not the same as a coach who doesn't, like before the program, you didn't know me and like you didn't know my personality and you weren't worried about breaking a friendship over like, okay, this part of your portfolio is not the best.
Yeah.
Whereas like if a friend had told me that, I might have been like, well, I don't like this part about your portfolio, so whatever. But I think that's what I needed, was that like unbiased perspective, completely like third person coming in and seeing me just as like a creator and not as like a friend per se. And so I think it was good because while like I would say we're friends, we're not like, you're not like my like teacher or anything, like, or my mom or anything, but like I feel like it was good because first our relationship was rooted in like making me a better creator, and then now we have established that trust, and I still feel like you're somebody that I can go to for advice and like true honesty about if I'm doing something wrong or, you know, whatever. So I think that was huge for me, not just worrying about like messing up my relationships in the creator space by
Yeah.
asking one of my other creator friends to be like, hey, I need like a step by step rule book. And I was like, I'm not going to bother them with that time. They don't need to take the time to give me everything like that. So this was perfect.
Yeah, I love that. I think as somebody that is a creator in the space, right? Like, and has friends that are like, "Hey, can you walk me step by step?" Like, it's not like, yes, I will give them the information that they're looking for, but it's not to the same level of commitment as like you give to your students, because you're paying me for my honesty. So like, if I'm not honest with you, then I'm not doing my job. And with friends, it's like, yeah, that content's good, I guess.
Like it's there, it's
It's
content.
you did it. That's great. So I love that. I think that perspective is really unique. I think that a lot of people either want to get help for free or like gain a bunch of information for free, which I think you can get started in the space for sure like that.
100%. Yeah.
But like you said, like those little nuances, those little things that will change the entire game for you are in a space where you are working with somebody
Yeah.
that's
1000%.
dedicated to your success.
Hmm.
I love that. Okay, cool. So, what was the first moment that you realized, or like the first time you really believed that this process was working? Do you remember that moment?
Um, yeah, I would say it was back in like February, honestly. I feel like I started to gain a lot of traction at that point. It was really when I started pitching a lot, and I had always been like lightly pitching, I say. Like I wasn't fully pitching as much as I now see like really you need to, and like your program taught me that. And so sorry, I completely forgot the question. What was the question again?
That's okay. What was the first moment that you realized like this process was working for
Oh
you?
my God. Okay. Anyway, so I had pitched a lot, and it took like 2 weeks of like pitching to really start seeing brands that wanted to work with me. And this was pitching with my new portfolio and like everything. And so I kind of had like, I had like this 2 week span where I landed like so many deals, and I was like, this is insane. I've never seen this level of like people wanting to work with me. Like I always had just done maybe like one or two deals a week, maybe like that kind of thing. And so it was like, this is working. Like people are seeing my portfolio. I'm putting myself out there. Like this is working, and people want to work with me and pay good money because I had finally gotten confident enough through the program to be like, you know, I bring value, pay up. Like I'm not taking these like low offers anymore. Because at first I was just kind of like, sure, I'll take what I can get.
Hmm.
But it was really those like 2 weeks mid February. You also helped me get a creative strategy role as well, and that was made me feel really confident. Like, okay, I can do this, and that offers another perspective as well on like the UGC space on like the script writing, creative strategy side. And so I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like, I feel like I have a lot of people that want to work with me, and I feel like a valuable creator in the space finally. Whereas before I didn't really. I just felt like another person. And so I was like, okay, so this is like how it works. This is what I need to do. I need to pitch. I need to put myself out there. I need to refine, you know, constantly refine my portfolio and like stay present on socials. And while I knew those things, I didn't have like the confidence. I think that's what your program brought. Like with, I had the confidence in my portfolio now, and then I had confidence in like my pitch templates, and like I felt good about everything I was like pitching and bringing to the company and the client. So I think that was the moment I was like, okay, wow, like this is working. Like this is good.
Do you remember how many brand deals you landed that week?
Oh my God, I feel like I was messaging you, but oh my God, sorry, I'm on my phone, so I'm looking. I feel like I was messaging you, and I don't remember like the exact amount like of like clients per se, but I think I like contracted, got up to like probably like $2,500 in deals from those like 2 weeks. Obviously, with payments and things, that's going to be spread out over a period of time. But I just never seen that because like each week it was like a $200 deal, like a $500 deal, like that kind of thing. And I was like, oh my God, I this is so much like this is really a starting point. Like I'd never seen that type of money come from UGC and like the work I'd been putting into it because especially pretty much all at one time. Because like I said, I was doing like $800, $1,000 a month. So I was like, this is crazy. And like I feel good about myself. And that also was a great confidence booster to help me land more deals down the road. Because I was like, okay, people want to work with me.
I'm actually good.
I'm actually good at my job.
So you went from landing like $800 worth of deals in a month to landing about $2,500 worth of deals in 2 weeks.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was insane.
That's like 3 times what you used to make in a month.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, so what was the biggest, you kind of just answered this, but I'm going to ask you again anyway. What was the biggest non-monetary gain that UGC Mastery has given you?
Yeah, for sure. Just in general, I think the confidence that came with it, like on going back to our first call, like I had mentioned, I was like, I don't know. We would talk about imposter syndrome because I was feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome when it came to like my personal branding and that type of thing. And so you were like, look, the value you bring to the table is from you. It's not from anybody else. Like you bring something to the table that other people don't. And you need to have confidence in the tips and tricks that you have and like the tools that you have. And I think that's where I was lacking before. And I think brands can kind of sniff that out whenever you don't feel like super confident in yourself. And so I think after that call, I was like, oh my God, of course I have imposter syndrome because it's something I've struggled with all my life. So I was like, of course it's going to affect this too. But then I was also like, okay, we're going to get better. We're going to learn everything we need to learn because that makes me feel better when I feel like I have materials and answers to like every potential question.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, so this is good. We're going to be fine. And I feel like since you provided all of those tools, all of the like videos and the tips and tricks and guides and all of that, I felt a lot more confident in like how to negotiate with brands and how to pitch myself and like what I bring to the table that other people don't. And I think that was honestly the biggest thing was like starting to actually believe in myself and not just be like, please work with me. Instead, I was like, here's why you want to work with me. Like I'm somebody you want to work with. Here's why. I can bring up these stats, these numbers. And a lot of that was just the confidence I gained through the courses and like UGC Mastery.
I love that. Oh, that's such a powerful, like, please work with me to like, this is why you want to work with me. Like, I do deserve this.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, that was good. That was good. So you said at the beginning that one of your biggest problems was getting reoccurring deals. So how has that changed for you?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely now know how to. So a lot of those like $2,500 like of brand deals that I had, a lot of them actually I worked with them again like this month, and I feel like I just didn't know. I guess the proper etiquette is the best way to say it after like a collaboration ended when I could be like, hey, this was really nice. Want to work together again? Like, I didn't know what the best way to do that was because I didn't want to just be kind of annoying, which you kind of have to be a little bit, I've learned now. But I was like, I didn't want to be like, please work with me again. Like, it was so fun. We had such a good time, remember? And so I now know how to at the end of a collaboration, say to a brand, this was great. Like, if you have open collaborations, I'm here and like you see what I'm capable of. But also, if you don't, I would love to, push ideas across your desk and like let you see what I can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And like, I am a UGC creator. I can create content, but I also have other tools in my arsenal and I can, ideate some video ideas and like write scripts for you. And I think that just like showing the brands that A, they already know you're capable because you just worked with them, but B, like there's more value I can bring. Like if you were impressed with this little bit, just wait and see what more like we can do if we work together long term. And so I think that was good. I learned the timing of when that was like good to say that to them because I didn't really know like, is it after they like pay me? Is it before? Is it after they approve the content? Like I didn't know. I was overthinking the whole thing. And I learned through you and I like remember talking to you about it and like that was my big struggle. And so now I just feel a lot more confident pitching myself to like pitching a recurring collaboration to brands and also just knowing when is the right time to do that. And I can also tell too, if I don't want to work with a client again, I can be like, that's not worth my time. Like, I don't want to do that again.
Thank you so much, but no thank you.
It was really fun, but I gotta go.
I still remember after we got off a coaching call one day and I had told you like kind of my method of how I go back to brands and land those reoccurring deals, and you texted me literally the next day and you were like, I just landed 2 more deals from following up with old brands I worked with, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know. Like, that was the thing. I had no idea I'd worked with so many brands and just, like, let them go. Like, that was it. Like, I was like...
Thanks for playing me, bye.
Yeah, I was like, okay, fun. Let's forget about each other. But I remember being on that call with you and you're like, no, you got to follow up. Like, you got to follow up, like, at least after, like, a month.
Yes.
Like, you got to follow up. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize this was a thing. And so when I started doing that, like, people were like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, we've already worked with you. It's easier for a brand to not take a gamble on a new creator and work with somebody they know that is easy to work with and can produce good content.
Yeah. Do you know how many brands now you're working with, like, on a reoccurring basis?
I have about 3 right now. That gets me close to about 3,500 a month recurring. So a couple of things on retainer. So that's nice to know, like, they're coming back, we've signed a contract, like that's locked in and I can keep going. So between those 3 brands, I have at least 3,500 come back every month, which is more than I could have ever imagined, honestly.
That's insane. That's so, like, you say that so casually and, like, so humbly, but, like, you work with 3 brands a month and that makes you $3,500 guaranteed income.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy thinking about where I was. Like, my only retainer client that I had before entering the program, I was making $200 a month, just 1 video a month. So, yeah.
It's insane. I can't even, that's more than 10 times more.
Yeah.
I can't even do that quick math in my head. I don't know. That's more than 10 times more. That's all I know.
Yes.
Okay, so like the meat and potatoes, like what led to you quitting your job? I still remember we get on a call one day. First of all, I have to tell my perspective. We get on a call one day and Izzy's like, so I have a lot to tell you. And I was like, okay. Oh God, I haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. So like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm great. So I put in my 2 weeks at my job. I'm like, what? So tell me like how you came to that decision. Like, tell me everything.
Yeah, so I kind of remember, like, it was early March, and I was like, God, I really wish I could have quit my job by now. Like, I do remember being like, I wish I could have quit my job. Like, I want to be done with this. Like, I'm so over it. I'm miserable every day. Like, I feel like I just have, like, a gray rain cloud hanging over my head all the time, everywhere I walk. So I was like, this is miserable. But I'm scared. I'm scared because it's a big jump. Like, it's completely different than anything I know. Like, I don't know anyone in my family before that's worked, like been self-employed. So like it's scary, like it's kind of unknown. So I was like, I'm still scared. But then I had like I don't know, like a weekend went by. I had like gone on a trip with a friend, and I just remember that Monday coming back and being like, I need to do it this Friday. Like I need to turn in my 2 weeks this Friday. If I'm not doing it, like if I don't do it now, I'm never going to. Like I just had this strong feeling where I was like, okay. And I had the confidence because I was landing all of those brand deals at the time and like feeling really good about myself and like setting up that recurring income. So I was like, I can do this. Like there's I was like, how much money and like recurring money is ever going to be enough to make me quit my job? Like I was like, at some point I'm just gonna have to, cut the thread. Like it's gonna have to go. And so I remember just being like, I gotta do it this Friday. Like I gotta do it. And I had talked to my husband. I told him like that Monday night, I was like, so I'm thinking I'll quit my job this Friday. And he was like, oh, oh, okay. He was like,
Right.
he was like, no discussion about this. I was like, I don't know. I just had like a come to Jesus sitting at my desk today. Like I was like, I need to do this. And it was probably honestly while I was taking my walk in like the parking lot at my work because I had to do that to get some fresh air. And I was like, I just need to be done.
Hot girl walk in the parking lot.
It was crazy. It was really crazy. And my loafers and everything, like insane. Business cash, like. So I was just like, I need to do this. And I was so just like fed up with my job. I had been for like a month or two at that point, and I had seen the results that UGC could give, and I was had that confidence in myself. So I was like, you know what? We're just gonna do it. Once the 2 weeks is in, we can't rescind it, really. Like they probably I mean, maybe I could be like, actually I pranked you guys, but like
Just kidding.
it was a prank. Happy early April Fools. But like I remember being like, once I do that, I still have 2 weeks to get my shit together, even though I had plenty, like I was fine. But I was like, I have 2 weeks to really just like lock in and set myself up for success. So let's just do it. And so I just remember I was so nervous to tell my boss, but then I was so excited afterward. Like I felt so bad at first. I was like, I'm leaving. And I think my boss thought like, oh, right now. I was like, no, this is my 2 weeks. This is my 2 weeks.
I give you 2 weeks of me.
But if you want me to leave right now, I would be open. I would be open to it. But then my last 2 weeks, those were, I remember like I talked to you during my last 2 weeks, and I was like, I am like up to my eyeballs in everything. I was pulling like late nights and stuff just because really, and that also proved to me like I had gotten UGC to a point where it was like a full-time thing. Like I was pretty much pulling full-time hours after my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It was exhausting, but we got through it. It was just 2 weeks of pain. And now here we are.
I do remember talking to you after the call. I was like, oh my God, I think she's going to pull her hair out.
I was literally so stressed out. Like I was like, I can't do that. Like I was, oh my God, I was struggling so much. And I'm a huge, I mean, we talked about my nap before we started this, but like I sleep so much, and I was not getting but like 5, 6 hours of sleep a night, which I know some people that's fine for them. I'm not one of those girls.
You're
I'm like
Cancer, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we need our sleep.
Like I'm like if I'm only getting 7, I'm struggling.
Same.
Like I'm like an 8 to 10.
Same.
So I was like struggling like mental capacity, and it was so much. And I remember also feeling fed up that I had a 45-minute commute each way. And so I remember being like in my car, like I could be getting so much work done right now, but instead I'm driving back from this stupid office. And I was just so like, it was a really rough time, but we're on the other side.
So what do your days look like now? Like what does your UGC career look like? What do your days look like?
Yeah, for sure. So I remember one of the things that I really wanted, I'm a morning person, and I really wanted like slow mornings was one of the big things that I wanted. Time to like eat a good breakfast, make my matcha or my coffee, and like just take my time. And I also like right now, especially living in Florida, the weather is beautiful right now. Like it's not too hot. And so I was like, I just want to enjoy, like maybe go on a walk. I have a dog, like just slow mornings. And so now I get to have those slow mornings and then also work in the hours that I'm most productive. Like I find myself being the most productive from like 9 to 12 is like where I really thrive, or those hours. And then I kind of hit an afternoon slump a little bit. And then at about 3 o'clock, honestly, is when I kind of pick back up and I can work again. And that has been so nice to be able to work on my own schedule and also go to the doctor without basically being like, please, can I have time off? Like
Without permission as a grown adult.
without permission. I'm probably gonna go get my oil changed tomorrow because I've been putting that off for forever and I'm like 2,000 miles over, but whatever. So like, and doing things like that. And I told like my husband, he works in downtown, like 15 minutes away. And I told him, I was like, I can come eat lunch with you. I can bring you lunch. Like, the world is literally my oyster right now. And like a couple Thursdays ago, I went and laid by the pool with my friend in the afternoon because I was like, I finished my work for the day. Like,
What else do I have to do?
like what else do I have to do? This is awesome. And I feel almost, I thought I was somebody who would thrive in like a structured environment because that's what I knew, because that's how high school is like really set up.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to college, that's a little bit less structured. And so I was like, I'm going to thrive in a structured environment again. I do not. Not that you can't be structured as a UGC creator and self-employed, but you create the structure.
Right.
And I have kind of set it up to where it works for me. And I don't force myself to fit into these times that like I'm not productive, and that's okay. Like that's fine that I don't work super great between like after lunch to like 2:30. Like I just am not a real person during that time, I don't think. Like I'm a gremlin. And so I have learned that about myself, and it's awesome. I finally feel like myself again. I even had like one of my long distance friends, like when I told her, she lives all the way in Seattle, so like literally other side of the country. My best friend, she was my maid of honor, everything. And I remember telling her like, hey, I quit my job. I was like, so let me know. I would love to come to Seattle. Like before, I couldn't do that before because I didn't have time off. Like I just didn't have enough time. I was like, I can come to Seattle and you can go to your job if you need to. And I can go to a coffee shop and work. Like I can work while I'm there and I'll keep myself busy. Like it'll be so fun. And she was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. We continued to talk and she had said like, this is so nice. I feel like you've like got your sparkle back almost, is what she said to me. She's like, I really feel like you're yourself again. And I was like, that was so sweet. Thank you. I was like, I feel like myself because I have my time and like control over my life again almost. And so it's been awesome working on like my terms and my rules and being my own boss, because who am I going to upset? Myself. And like, I'm probably going to get mad at myself anyway for who knows what. So
We're all our own worst critic.
yeah. So I was like, whatever, I can deal with criticism from myself. Like I'm fine.
That's so funny. So what are your, like, monetarily, what's it looking like these days? Like, how much money are you making from UGC?
Yeah, so I would say right now, April, I'm probably going to close out at about 7K probably total, which is awesome, which is like a little bit more than I made monthly in my 9 to 5. Like, ever so slightly, it's not like a ton, but it's a little bit, but it's just my first month. And I honestly feel like this month too, because I did work so hard during my last like 2 weeks, I was going insane, as we talked about. I have been able to take some time as I transition to this to actually like listen to my body and stuff. So I feel like I haven't even unlocked like the full potential of what I can make, because I have been intentionally taking it a little bit easier to restore my creativity and like my passion for UGC, just because I have gone through such a big change and like that's draining. So just being able to make that amount of money, like not even pushing myself fully, is crazy.
So you went from $800 months to quitting your full-time job as an engineer and making a little over $7,000 in your first month not at your job.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, April isn't over yet. So that's insane. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I love that for you.
Yes. And that was even with some deals being like, hey, we don't have any April collaborations open. We have May open though. And so I already have some like deals for May set up. So feeling good about May already and like super excited. I'm really excited. I'm gonna see my family for the first time since like Christmas in May. And this will be my first time like them getting to see me after I like quit my job. So they're gonna be like,
Were
because
they
even my
excited
family
for
was like,
you?
you weren't yourself, girl. Like that was not you. And so I'm excited. I'm happy I don't have to take days off. Like I can travel whenever I want and feel good about it. And I'm like super, super grateful.
That's so good. That's so good. Oh my gosh. So I know that we had a little bit of like one of the things that I offer a certain level in UGC Mastery is the opportunity to have my contacts basically. So how has that been for you? I know that we had a bunch of people want to hire you actually.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was one of the huge things where I had a couple people reach out to me and they were like, "Hey, we talked to Sydney, like, and you had also told me to like pitch to some people, like, here are some of my contacts." And I think that was huge. And there were some like big brands that I really wanted to work with as well. Like one of the ones that I always wanted to work with was I love my dog. I love creating pet content. So like Pet Lab Co. was one of the brands that I really wanted to work with, and like the Pet Lab creative like ambassador person messaged me, and she was like, "Hey, Cindy told me to reach out to you," and I was like, "This is crazy because that's literally one of my dream brands that I've always wanted to work with,"
That's so
and like,
cool.
yeah, it was so cool, and the connections were so helpful, and like it was just nice because you have set such like a precedent for yourself and like you have a reputation, and so by you having that and you saying, hey, here are some of my students that I've taught my ways, like they are going to work kind of the same systems that I do and I believe in them. By having that kind of gold star of like recommendation from you to these clients has been huge because that automatically instills some trust from them and us, and it's been awesome. I think that was really a big part of the confidence boost was like having these people that have worked with like the quote unquote big creators and have worked with you being like, hey, we want to work with you. I think that was totally a part of my confidence boost 100%.
That's so cool. I think one of the things that I'm like hearing you say over and over again is not necessarily that like you quit your job because you were making the same amount of money that you were making in your job, but because you had confidence in your skills to be able to do it.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely I when I quit my job, I did not think my first month I was going to match even my like 9 to 5 income, and I'm in a very great situation. Like my husband works very hard, has a stable job, but like I just knew at that point in time, like I was like, I am working so much because I was, and I was like, I'm working so much, and I had kind of always felt that, and I think we kind of talked about that like at the beginning, like on our first call, where I was like, I just kind of wish they would fire me so I could
Yeah,
just
I do remember you saying that.
like I was like, I kind of wish they would just fire me so I could just have that push that I needed. And so I finally just had like a little bit, that little bit of confidence that I needed to just be like, I'm going all in. I'm diving into the deep end. Like, let's do it. Even if my first month is not like exactly the same amount of money, I have all the tools in my toolkit. Like, I believe in myself that I might maybe experience a dip the first month, but I feel confident that by the second, third month, I will be making the same amount of money, if not more. And I think it was just that little bit of confidence where I was like, I call it delusion. It's not really delusion because it's like obviously real, but
Yeah.
like I kind of treated it as a little bit of like, it made it more fun to say like my girly delusion. Like I was like, we're just going to do it. So I was just like, I was like, I'm gonna do it. And even my husband was a little bit worried. Like he was like, I don't want us to experience like a financial dip. And I was like, I don't feel like we are. Like, I
Hmm.
was like, I am telling you now, like I don't feel like it. But if we do, we'll take another look at it. But I was like, all I know right now is I need to get out and I need to try this and give it like my full effort and attention.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So what are your future goals for UGC? Like what's the next goal?
Yeah, so I would love to hit like you hear people all the time talk about like the 10K months. I would love to have like a 10K month. So much. I would love to hit that before like the end of the year. And I think just like continuing to build that recurring income and like growing and nurturing those relationships with clients and just knocking out a few of like my dream brands and stuff to work with and like and there's so many things, but like honing in my personal brand as well. I'm still developing that. And there's just like so many things to constantly work on, which is part of the reason why I love this job because like it's ever changing and growing. And but really, like if you want to put a number to it, I want like a 10K month really bad. I think that'll be like I just can't wait to make my little tweet like my 10K
Hey,
month.
hit my 10K month.
Yeah, and so I think that would be really really awesome. But I think in the grand scheme of things, like just growing my business, and I would like to be kind of one of those creators that people look up to and can like trust their advice. I think that would be awesome, but that's like a long term goal for sure. And then also just to keep up the flexibility. Like I don't want to work myself to death either. Like I don't want 30K months if I'm working myself into the ground. Like that's not my ideal situation. And so if I can find like a good balance between having like a solid business, making good recurring stable money and continue to live the life that I live with time flexibility and freedom, then that would be like my perfect world and my perfect job, honestly.
Keep your sparkle.
Yes. Keep my sparkle.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so cool. What's your favorite brand? This is not on my questionnaire, but I'm curious now. What's your favorite brand that you've ever worked with?
My favorite brand. That's a good question. Hold on, I'm about to look through my brand list right now. Um, Honestly, I had a really good time working with Keeper, one of your contacts. I had a lot of like their systems were really smooth and like they have it down to like a science, and that was one of my favorite. And I think it allowed me to like I'd done a lot of like pet content and like food and beverage was a lot of what I was doing before. And I think that allowed me to kind of step more into like the tech finance space. And I had always been interested in doing that. And I just think working with that whole team was really great. Like I loved working with them for sure. And like I said, it was just very smooth and I
Yeah.
appreciated the like, solid rules of it all. Like communication was good, everything. I really appreciated the efficiency because
Do
I don't
you?
like waiting days for like an email or like
Yes.
revisions or things to come back. So that was probably my favorite like experience overall with a client is working with them.
I love that. I think, when you ask somebody what their favorite brand is, sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, this was like the one I was most excited about." But like, I think your answer is even better, where it's like, "This is the one that I had the best experience with." Like, this
Yeah,
is the brand that like if they wanted something, I would go back because it was such a good experience.
100%. Yeah. And like I'd mentioned before, like Pet Lab was one of my dream brands. So I was like over the moon when I got like a deal with them, a collab with them. So there are definitely brands like that, but for sure, like just as much as you want brands to keep coming back to you, I think it's also good for the brands to keep in mind that like they have a experience that their creators are going through as well,
Yeah.
and that might help creators want to come back to them because there have been some rough brands out there. I mean, we all know it, but like
Yep.
the Keeper was like exceptional for me for sure. Like it was easy to learn, seamless, that kind of thing.
Where are most of your brand deals coming from now?
Like platform wise,
Or like, are they emailing you? Like, are they inbounds? Are you reaching out? Are they
um, I would
recurring?
say Twitter X has always been like a huge one for me for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. Just applying to like the calls that you see on like your feed. Um, that is probably making up like a quarter, of my
Nice.
deals. Yeah, it's a lot. And then I would say it's split. The other 75% is split between like pitching various ways, whether that's like email, bento, Instagram, that kind of thing. Um, and then inbounds. Like I've started this week, especially getting a pretty steady stream of inbounds, which has been nice. Granted, some of them not legitimate, but
Be careful.
be careful out there. So, but I have gotten some like really good ones. But I've seen a lot. Like that was kind of a big turning point for me, was just seeing how much pitching can actually be fruitful. Like it is a numbers game for sure. Like you got to put yourself out there and it's a lot, but it's definitely something that every creator at any level should do.
It's like, do you want to not like do you want to not pitch or do you want to go to your job? Like which one? Which one?
Which one? Like, do I want to make that commute again?
Right. Do you want to
No.
send those pitches that like sometimes they are not fun to send, or do you want to drive 45 minutes to work and sit in an office and have to take your hot girl walk around the parking lot in your loafers?
Yep. Yep. Those are the options. Pick your poison, honestly.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add or anything that you like are dying to say?
Only thing is that I'm just like super grateful for the program that I stumbled upon it. And like one of the things that was great that I really appreciated whenever I did kind of back off from like when you initially had mentioned the program to me, you didn't like chase me down and like hunt me down. Like, you kind of gave me the space. And then I like naturally came back a little bit. I really appreciated that side of it because I'm not, if you force me to do stuff,
Not
I'm
in.
like, I'm not like get away from me. Like that's just I get stubborn and I'm like, no. So I really appreciated that and this whole program honestly just gave me the tools, the confidence, everything that I needed to quit my job and be where I am. Like I really feel like I'm living a completely different life, a better life for me. And it really has been like life changing, career changing, and I really don't think I'd be here without the program, honestly.
I love that. I'm so happy for you. And I still remember getting the text. I was in Turkey when I got the text that she had finally walked out of her last day at her job. And I was like, oh my God, I'm literally actually crying.
I was so excited and I left. I even left like a little bit early because I was like, we have this little like key fob thing and our bathrooms are like in the lobby. So we had to like scan back into the office. Girl, they cut my connection off at like 1 p.m. I said,
Fine, I'm leaving.
I said, I'm out. I said, y'all don't want me here.
What are they going to do? Fire you?
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Like, y'all obviously don't want me here anymore. So I said, I'm out. Like, I'm done. And it was so exciting. I drove home with like my windows down. We went out to dinner that night. It was awesome.
Oh. Oh, I love that. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And for anybody out there that is in the same place that Izzy was in, like, and wanting to quit their job, hating their 9 to 5, hating the job that they're in or the life that they're living, even if it's not a 9 to 5, like you want more time freedom, you want more monetary freedom, like this is an opportunity that can definitely change your life if you're open to putting in the work like she was. And so I'm really grateful that you were here to share your story. And thank you so much. And I can't wait to see where UGC takes you.
Yes, thank you.